So I'm here with Jorge Fernandez from the CrossFit Games champion Invictus team that took first this year. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Awesome job. And so Jorge and I were having a discussion about grips and the potential of them locking up on the bar. And if you don't know what locking up means, literally it's when you're on the bar and the grip comes all the way around and gets caught up under your palm, and it literally will make your wrist stick in position, and that typically will happen when you're going from below the bar to above the bar. So that would be a bar muscle up, or as we saw this year, the pullovers, right? And the reason that can happen is if you missize your grips. If your grips are too long and they extend out beyond your fingertips, that's just way more material that A, will not help you in any way on the bar, but B, could hinder you because that extra material stretching out can really wrap around and get caught up underneath your palm and lock your wrist in place when you're on top of the bar, and that's really detrimental. And when you come down, that's when you can really injure your wrist. So when we designed these grips with Alex Smith, the goal was that when your palm was outstretched nice and straight, we just wanted the edge of the grip to get to about the middle crease of your middle finger. So there's his middle crease, middle finger. If you got there, we know that when you curled up onto the bar, go ahead and curl your fingers. When you curled up on the bar, you should end up with at least that much. At least the seam will be beyond your fingertips, at the very least. Typically a little bit more, right? So we know that that's enough. And if you go a little bit longer, like Jorge's using the XLs right now, and you can see the XLs reach just a little beyond. This is not too bad, right? In fact, if you open his palm nice and straight, he's just a little bit past that middle crease. But we see a lot of athletes that want their grips to come way out beyond their fingertips. You've seen that quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So if Jorge just jumps up and or just hangs his hands over the top, you can see what's happening. So this is the extra large, and look at all of this material. This is the issue. This is what can get caught all the way up underneath your palm. So, and all this is wasted. If your skin is not in contact with the leather, it's doing you no good, right? This is a little better. We have less material. Remember, that was a large that barely got to his middle crease, and he still has a good 1.5 inches of flap material there, right? So that's what we're concerned about. And the other thing you can come down. The other thing that we need to pay attention to is that the grips can stretch, right? Yeah. You find that over time your grip kind of wears out.
They definitely do. Yeah.
Starts to get a little bit softer, a little bit longer.
Yeah, and like you said, on these, I was trying these last week, and I was using the XLs, doing the turnovers, and as I was doing one of the turnovers, the grip got stuck and it wrapped around just like this, and it just kind of makes sense on what you're saying. These are a little bit longer, so it gives room for it to do that.
Right.
I haven't tried with the large yet, so maybe I'll go ahead and try those. But yeah, I definitely did get caught last week on those.
Yeah. So hey, that's a really great point for a CrossFit Games champion to still be figuring things out, right, through trial and error. And when he starts with, Jorge's always liked extra larges, I know that, and when he starts off with them, they're usually fine. The measurement's not too bad, they're not too excessive, but then as he wears them in and the leather stretches a little bit, now it starts to get into a dangerous zone. And now with the new movement of pullovers, or even still bar muscle ups, that there's a potential for that, that's when you can get locked up. So larges, I mean, that would be my recommendation for Jorge, would be to go with larges, and I think that they'll fit him great and but kind of reduce that potential. The other thing too is how people use them. Show me how you like to hang on. So
when I go up and over, I like to keep my fingertips back and rely on a little bit more of the grip than my grip.
Right, so what Jorge's doing there is just putting pressure on the top of the grip, on top of the bar, right? He's not using his full wraparound. So show what a full wraparound, where your fingers come all the way around, right? So that's what we intended when we designed the grips, is that it's gonna offer you some assistance, but more so protection. And what Jorge's doing with his fingertips on top is he's letting the grip strapped around his wrist take a little bit more of his weight when he's on the bottom of the bar, right? Just to kind of let his grip relax a little bit more. So, that's gonna force your grips under a lot of tension and cause tearing a lot more often. When we get athletes that reach out and say, hey, my grip's tore, we know a lot of times it's because they're relying more so on the grip than their actual hand strength. It's not how we designed them. So just be aware that that's going to cause your grips to stretch out more and more than likely tear, okay, because it's just natural leather, and we have 200 pounds of solid muscle with all this dynamic yanking on that, and it's going to give at some point. So yeah, so keep that in mind. We really want you to use a full wraparound finger grip, and that should prolong the life of those grips. Yeah, that's great. So you want to do a couple of bar muscle ups, and we'll take a look. Maybe do one and hang out up top, and we'll kind of see what that looks like. Right, so now Jorge's really conscientious, since he had that lock up before, and he's conscientious not to push all that flap around the bar. He's really trying to mitigate that. You see here he has less potential to do that just because the material is shorter, right? So how about down and back up again? Let's see. Yeah, right? So that's what you want to be careful of. All this extra material is really wasted. It's more flap. It doesn't help you in any way and can hinder you. What if you want to try a pullover?
Yeah, so come down and start.
Yeah, so let's see what a pullover. We're going to go all the way around the bar now. Come all the way up. Yeah, and that's where you really have to pay attention to how much extra flap is there, because as you're circling the bar, right, that's where that edge can come around and get caught up under the palm. So yeah, you want to go through yeah. Right, yeah, and that's the thing, is Jorge's being very cautious and careful, whereas in competition, you know, he doesn't have that luxury. He's got to go full steam, so you can come on down now. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest takeaway, is just, you know, the Smith grips were really designed to reach mid crease of your middle finger. That's what we're looking for when your hand is outstretched. If it stretches beyond that, you have that potential for the full lockup, and we're trying to avoid that. We know the leather is going to stretch as you use it, so that's something else to consider. Otherwise, anything else you want to add to that?
No, just shorten up on your grips.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, absolutely. How about, do you know how do you use your keeper band? Are you good at that?
Yeah,
tuck
so
away yet?
He actually taught me where you clip it with 2 fingers and then push under. Same thing with this one. Clip, push under.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they get this wrong, and it drives me and Alec crazy, right? Because a lot of people will take this top edge and they'll just tuck it right underneath, or they'll get the whole thing trapped under there, which we're looking at that going, no, that's so, you know, it works, it keeps it out of the way, but it just takes too long, and getting it back out of there is a real struggle to try and get it back so you can get back on the bar. So if you watch what Jorge did, let's try that again.
Yeah, so just 2 fingers.
So he's scissoring, this is the key. He's scissoring the grip. His index finger is on the logo, and then his other, I like to do 2 or 3 fingers, at least 2, that's me, but if you don't have to. So he's scissoring it, and then what he's gonna do is use his thumb and index to grab the elastic, and then use that back finger to just push the logo through, so the leading edge always stays out. Leading edge never gets underneath the elastic, and then when you wanna pop that back out to get on the bar, boom, you're right on. So when you practice like he does, you get real fast at it, takes a split second, and there you go. So that's how you use the grip keeper. I'm glad that we finally got to educate some people on that. Sure. Awesome. Jorge, thanks for all your time.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and good luck in the future, all the future endeavor.
Thank you.
All right, get to it.